Today, let's talk about the psychology of the Dynasty market, specifically the cyclical nature of the Dynasty calendar and how we can take advantage of that to build long-lasting powerhouse teams. My name is Paul. This is Pure Potential. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment. Let's get into it. So today I want to talk about a trend that we see every year in the Dynasty market, or at least that I've seen every year since I've been playing Dynasty since about 2019. And to help with this, I've got a little chart that my lovely wife drew up for me. So shout out to her. Here we have months running along the x-axis, starting with the beginning of the fantasy season in September and then running through to August, all the way on the far right. On the y-axis, we are measuring dynasty value. And then we have these two colored lines here. So the blue represents rookie picks and the yellow represents player value. And to be clear, these lines are not based on any exact numbers. That's why the chart is drawn by hand. They're just based on my perception of the Dynasty market, how the average Dynasty manager is valuing picks and players at different times of the year. And the peaks and the valleys here are definitely exaggerated a little bit, but I think it helps get the point across. It's easier to visualize what I'm talking about. So starting with that yellow line for player value, you can see that players are already valued pretty highly at the beginning of the fantasy season in September. And that value just continues to creep up as the season progresses. People start to feel playoff pressure mounting. They have that trade deadline coming. That's when people start to make trades that you would consider going all in. People go out and trade first round picks for Derrick Henry, Davante Adams, Joe Mixon, and the like. That's when your player value is sky high. Last year at this time, you could offer, 10 first round picks to the manager that had Christian McCaffrey, and they probably would have said no. So that's what happens with player value during the season. But as soon as that fantasy season is over, as soon as week 17 wraps up, that player value just plummets. You can see that yellow line just takes that sharp dive down into January. Now, this decline in player value, it's not going to apply to young superstar players like Jamar Chase or CeeDee Lamb. We're not really talking about those blue chip players. Those are going to be valued all year round, pretty much the same. But for most players, especially those that are late into their prime or beyond their prime, this is a nearly universal phenomenon. And I actually have a pretty good personal anecdote that illustrates this point because I am currently doing a Dynasty startup because I have a problem and I can't be in enough Dynasty leagues apparently. But I'm in this league, maybe I'll make a video on it. And rookie picks are included in the startup. So whenever you draft a kicker, you get the next 2025 rookie pick. That's pretty much how all my startups work. I don't know why Sleeper hasn't made rookie picks a draftable asset yet that you can put into the startup, but alas, for now we use kickers. Anyway, the rookie 209 just came off the board before somebody picked Davante Adams, a player who scored nearly 40 points last week. But this league doesn't have any matchups, doesn't have any playoff implications at all until next season. So when you're looking at a 32-year-old wide receiver or nearly 32-year-old wide receiver versus the chance at a shiny, exciting rookie prospect, especially when you don't need to score any fantasy points for the next 9 months, it's just really hard to talk yourself into the old guy. And that's one of the reasons why going all in is such a dangerous strategy, because as soon as the season is over, it's impossible to recoup that value that you have put into the older players. Guys like Derrick Henry, guys like Alvin Kamara are also going much later in this startup than their keep, trade, cut, or fantasy calc value would indicate, because the players in this draft are not factoring in any 2024 production while those sites are. So when you think ahead to what's going to happen after the season, that's what you should expect, that those older players are going to sharply decline in value. Now, over the course of the offseason, players are going to gradually become more and more valuable as we get closer and closer to week 1 when points start to matter again. Now, I'm obviously generalizing here. I'm not saying that every player is going to follow this exact path. There are lots of players who are going to see their value spike or their value tank throughout the offseason, right? Things like free agency, the draft, training camp narratives, all that stuff is going to force player values up and down the board. But on a broader scale, the 50,000 foot view, this is how the market values players relative to rookie picks throughout the year. They are at their biggest advantage relative to rookie picks during the season, and they're at their biggest disadvantage relative to rookie picks in that late winter, early spring area, February, March. That's when the rookie fever picks up. So let's talk about rookie picks here. So you can see that at the beginning of our chart, rookie picks are at their lowest point of value in September and throughout the fantasy football season. And the reason for this is obvious. Rookie picks don't score points. The thought process at this time of year is usually something like, why would I want some unproven rookie in 6 months when Darnell Mooney is scoring 13 points per game right now? And really, this blue line should start to come up a bit towards the end of the season as teams get eliminated from the playoffs and you start to see a little bit more demand for rookie picks, because those teams that are out of the playoffs, they're going to want to start hoarding picks, preparing for that next season. But you get the idea, right? The picks remain pretty low value during the year while so many teams have something to compete for. They're trying to maximize the scoring potential of their starting lineups. It's not until January or February where that pick value really starts to take off. At that point, you have things like the NFL Combine, you have mock drafts coming out every day from every major outlet. Every content creator out there starts dropping their film breakdowns, and nobody has anything to do at this point other than salivate over these incoming prospects. So outside of that temporary distraction of NFL free agency, this trend, this rookie pick value increase is just going to continue through the NFL draft in late April. It's going to peak in rookie draft season. Now for me, most of my leagues are drafting kind of throughout the month of May, maybe into early June. So for me, that's kind of when rookie picks are hitting their peak value. I think that's the most common. I know some people do their rookie drafts later in the offseason, but generally right after the draft is when you're going to see that biggest spike in value for rookie picks. And a lot of the time, your pick is actually the most valuable when you're on the clock, because people feel left out of the draft or they want to make sure that they're going to get their guy. And suddenly you're getting these way better offers to trade back or move the pick outright. And it's not that you always have to do that, but if you're going to move a pick, that's often the best time to do it. And then finally, once your rookie draft is over, picks start to decline in value again, at least relative to players, as managers start to prioritize their starting lineups, getting ready for week 1. Now, I think there are a couple of big takeaways here that you can use to get an advantage on your league mates if you can think ahead. And the first one is that the best time to buy veteran players is early in the offseason when everyone else is chasing picks. You want to zig when your league mates zag. You can think of this like buying clothes. Okay, if you need a sweater, the best time to buy a sweater would be towards the end of the winter season. Demand is down, stores are trying to clear out their inventory for the next season, and so you're going to get good deals. But a lot of people don't do this because they're thinking, winter's almost over. I'm not even going to get to wear this sweater very many times, and then I'm going to have to go shove it in the closet for a year. Why would I go out and buy a sweater right now? But guess what? There's going to be another winter next year, and you'll already have that sweater that you got at a discount because you had the foresight to buy it at the most opportune time. The people who bought Derrick Henry and Joe Mixon for a mid-second last January were quite happy that they waited 8 months to wear that sweater, I assure you. And the second takeaway here is if you don't currently have any 2025 rookie picks, it might already be too late to buy your way in. Now, every league is different, and you can definitely try. I mean, absolutely shoot your shot if you want to try and get in on some rookie picks, but you don't want to let fear of missing out push you into making bad decisions. You don't want to go sell low on a bunch of veteran players on your team when they're at their lowest point of value just because you really want to click the button on some exciting rookie. If you're in that situation, what I'd say is try trading for 2026 or 2027 picks instead. That way you can potentially offload some veterans, but they're going to be a lot easier to acquire. You're going to get better value for those picks. And like those cheap veteran investments, you're going to be rewarded for your patience. Now, if you're an extremely savvy Dynasty player, you can find a way to make trades work for you pretty much any time of year. I'm not saying that you can't go out and buy a rookie pick in April. You certainly can. But if you want to consistently come out ahead in trades and you want to build buying power over time, it absolutely pays to be aware of these trends and stay one step ahead of the market. Anyway, that's going to do it for today, guys. As always, thanks so much for watching the video. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you enjoy my Dynasty content, please subscribe to the channel. Really goes a long way, and it'll make sure that you don't miss any videos in the future. And if you want even more Dynasty content from me, consider hitting the join button down below this video or over on my channel page and becoming a YouTube member today. That'll get you access to my top 200 Dynasty rankings, weekly members-only live streams, and private channels in the Pure Potential Discord. Either way, I'll be back soon with another Dynasty video, and I hope I'll see you then.